After 6 years of traveling the country, training leaders, HR professionals, and anyone who has been tasked with HR responsibilities, the number one question I get after every training without fail is, how do I get my leaders to listen to me? It usually happens in the day at around about the 5th hour, about 4 or 5 hours in. After lunch, everyone's absorbed all the new information about all the technical areas of HR. And then finally someone just raises their hand and says, "Oh, this is great, and I'm really learning a lot today, but I'm going to take all of this knowledge back," and nobody's going to listen to me. Well, let's talk about how to get people to listen to you. Technical knowledge isn't enough. And if that's been a burning question for you, how do I get people to listen to me? You've figured that out. That you can bring the right answer to someone, be spot on regarding an HR compliance issue, yet no one's listening. And so your ability to do a good job and even comply with the laws as a professional really depends upon getting your work done through and with the cooperation of other people who may have the ultimate power and authority to give you a yes or a no. What I learned about leadership is that it's really not a job title. I read a lot of things about leadership after being sent to the couch myself and understanding what was the biggest lesson in my mess as someone who was put in a leadership role, given the title, but didn't have the skills and didn't know it. And Peter Drucker says that leadership is not a job title. Leadership is the ability to influence people. You can be a person of influence in your personal life and professional life, no matter your job title, no matter your years of experience, if you're willing to do what it takes to develop the skills to have influence. Perception can make or break you, and perception is driven by the skills we develop or the skills we never develop. So some core skills to really have influence. It really starts first with having a strong personal brand. Did you know that you are in sales? That's right, you are in sales. If you are not able to take information and persuade others, you simply can't achieve high performance in any role, because we have to work through and with other people, get buy-in, or eventually we're going to hit those roadblocks or have conflict or just make work and life harder than it has to be. Can struggle just become a couch habit for some people? And don't some people get really proud of their struggle? We will announce to people the tales of our struggle. But I'm here to tell you that people who are influential do not struggle. There's a phrase that I just cannot stand. It gives me a case of I can't stand it itis, and that is when people say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And what that is really is an excuse to stay stuck on the couch of not having the soft skills to influence people. It's what we say when we can't figure out how we have more knowledge and experience in an area, but someone else is getting the promotion. We know more technically, have more knowledge and skill, but the boss seems to prefer and give more respect and credibility to someone else. What's really happening? It starts first with your personal brand, and that means understanding that you and how you represent and present yourself has a lot to do with how people perceive and experience you. Having a strong personal brand starts first with communication. As a professional coach, consultant, and trainer, I am passionate about coaching people to be influential in their lives and to first learn to master the skill of communication. When we say it's not what you say, but how you say it, it means when you communicate with leaders in your organization, are you aware of their personality style? Do you have specific strategies that are designed to tailor your language to meet their needs? Or have you just been a golden rule communicator? You just treat people the way you would like to be treated and then wonder why it doesn't work with everyone. It was the number one lesson in my mess. I'm a get it done person, someone who's just very task oriented, a direct communicator. But I was in an organization communicating and leading individuals who were actually my behavioral opposites. and I didn't know it. So here's what happened. We got a lot done on paper. I was successful on paper as the leader, but failing in my relationships and didn't know it. So leadership is not just the person who's got all the power and authority and title. Sometimes the best leader in the organization is the receptionist who has the skills to have more influence. You can grow those skills. So the first thing to think about before you bring anything to a leader is, what is their personality style? You'll learn more about that through specific talent development strategies that we'll talk about. But if you're in doubt, one place to start is simply by observing. Mirror their brand. Are they more formal in their dress at work? Are they more relaxed and very personable? They like to talk about their family or things they did on the weekend. Be an observer. People who are high performers, who are influential, they spend as much time watching and observing people as they do trying to study and do things. So mirror. If you're in doubt, mirror how they like to present information to you and reflect that style back to them. Then commit yourself to developing the very specific communication skills to learn to be assertive and to learn to use personality styles to influence others. The other part of influencing people is establishing credibility. I read a book when I was 17 years old, How to Make It Big in the Seminar Business. And I went to chapter 1 and it said first you had to establish credibility, and it gave examples. And I thought at 17, I think I probably need to go and learn some other things. I haven't had enough life experience. I haven't finished college. There are other things that I need to do before I open my mouth to speak to other people. So in order to be credible, know your stuff. It's simple. Sometimes we want people to listen to us just because we hold a position. But have you established credibility by developing the technical knowledge, especially of HR? Here's one quick example of combining credibility with a communication tactic. When you develop knowledge of HR, you'll probably discover some major issues in your organization. Everyone has them. So here you are as the messenger trying to tell people that their practices are not in compliance with the laws and must be changed. The first question you'll probably be asked is, why? Let's say that you've discovered that employees have been working off the clock in violation of a payroll law. And one of the things that's been happening is some employees have been volunteering to do things like work at a fundraiser on the weekend. The employee volunteers, and so the boss has always decided that they're not going to be paid because they volunteered their time. And that's the way we've always done it. You discover in your training in this program on the payroll law section that this is actually work time, and we have to pay employees for the time, and that you cannot let employees volunteer to work and not get paid. Now you have to influence the boss to understand that the way they've always done it has basically been wrong. You have to be able to answer the why to establish credibility. If you simply say, we can't do that anymore, and they ask you why, and you say, it's not legal, is that being influential? A person who's influential has the credibility, and they can speak to the why. Why is the next level of knowledge? We can't do that because actually under the Fair Labor Standards Act, it's a non-waivable right. If they're a non-exempt employee and they volunteer to do things that are associated with their normal work activities, it's considered work. Now here's the next step for you in communication. Offer a solution. Every time you bring a problem, a person of influence always has ideas that are creative that will solve the problem while also managing the bottom line issues and expectations of that other leader in the organization. Here's a possible solution. We'll pay that employee who wants to volunteer. That makes the employee feel good to be able to volunteer at this fundraiser. What we can do to avoid overtime is shorten that employee's hours, an hour a day during the week, so that they get to enjoy the event. They'll be more productive and happier the following week because we've allowed them to contribute, will comply with the law, and this will meet your budget goals. Then learn to negotiate. Will that work for your needs? Ask for what you want and state it with the expectation of getting a yes. Those are some quick tips for combining building credibility, using communication, and having a strong personal brand to be a person of influence. There's an entire list of must-have skills in order to help you. Those are a few to get you started.